Okay, we're here with Mr. Chris Ndala, the new CEO for Dobie, Kenya. Tell us a few words about his vision for the local industry and for the company, Dobie. Welcome, Mr. Chris.
Thank you.
Perhaps you could take you back to your experience across Africa. You've been in different markets, dealing with different companies, where you've been credited with perhaps turning around some of the poorly performing enterprises to become profitable and also enhance some performance. First of all, what are some of your career milestones?
Starting from the manufacturing, I joined the training and development.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I started as an engineer, and training and development was at Nissan South Africa. Joining a department where I was the first black to join a department, and I was given a task to do training and development for the sub-Saharan market, because in that year, Japan gave the responsibility of dealer development to South Africa. And you know, as a young democracy, yes, infrastructures are there or were there still. But we didn't have, as a country, the experience of sub-Saharan market. But you are given this responsibility.
Right.
And that's when they were looking for someone who is a South African citizen that will speak French and English. Then I was found someone. And the advantage I had is because I'm a very Pan-African, born in sub-Saharan countries. I'm South African by adoption. I grew up there. So, meaning I had quite a good understanding of the sub-Saharan market.
How did you overcome that, the first challenge of being the only black?
The first challenge was not easy. You walk in the meeting that is run in Afrikaans. The language of communication of Nissan is English during that time, because I'm no longer in Nissan, but I'm talking now 20 years ago. The language of communication was English. But then you sit in the meeting where you start the meeting in English, and somebody will just tell you, Chris, I'm sorry, I need to speak in Afrikaans. Not because he doesn't want you to hear, because he also has a challenge with English. So when he speaks in Afrikaans and somebody will respond in Afrikaans, and then at some point you're like, hey guys, can we go back to English? So those are the few challenges that you had to go through. And I like this one because besides doing training and development for the sub-Saharan market, the sub-Saharan, I was also assisting in developing the dealer development within South Africa, within the provinces.
Yes.
And there was one province that I never used to go, but others would go, and I never asked why, and that was the Free State, if you know South Africa, in the Free State. So the Free State is this province, those years, maybe things are changing now.
Yeah.
It was many Africans. One time I went to give training there. It was my first time. And you don't fly there. Other provinces you fly. So that one I had to drive my car to go to the Free State. And my colleagues were saying, good luck. So,
Must have been going there.
I didn't understand. They said, you going to the Free State? I said, yes. They said, okay, good luck. They were laughing. And I went there, and in the morning, the training had to start at 8. I was in the classroom waiting for the guys to come in. Nobody came in. So I went to the office. I'm like, what time do we start? The lady said, you should start now. I said, but these guys are not. So, like they say in Swahili, Kumbe, these guys, they went to ask the lady and say, where is our
The trainer.
trainer today?
Mhm.
The lady said, but he's sitting in the, like, black guy.
Wow.
So I went out, and then I kind of begged and said, guys, can you please come in? And they were dragging their feet. Well, they came in, they sat.
Mhm.
And, because of the experience when you
Yeah.
train,
Mhm.
I never used to read the books.
Mhm.
I just started talking and writing and talking to them.
Mhm.
The way you see the body language, like they are not there.
Yeah.
And after like 10 minutes, you see the guys relaxing.
Mhm.
The body language became positive.
Yes.
So they realized that, okay, he knows what he's talking about. Okay.
Mhm.
So the training went on. By the time it was lunchtime and we had to go to the canteen and eat, and I can tell you, everybody surrounded me and they were excited and asking me questions, how I know this and where I studied and all that. So these are the few experiences that I had in my own country.
Yeah.
And then you come down to the rest of sub-Saharan market.
Yes.
What you see in automotive today is it has been a long journey
Yeah.
where the sense of service
Mhm.
was never there 20 years ago. Just service,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
It was more of you as a customer, you come and beg for service. You know, please service my car. When we give you the price, it's take it or leave it. So you come, when you come in the world of training and development, you start teaching people why service. And the challenge you face in understanding why we should service.
Let me jump in here.
Yeah.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why some of these companies are failing? And you've been credited with turning around some of these failing floundering entities and giving them a new life. You are a respected turnaround architect within the industry. What are some of the reasons that these guys are failing?
Some of the reasons that people were failing, and as I said to you, the sub-Saharan market will come a long way.
Yeah.
To give you an example, just to have a showroom was a problem. Where the distributors did not believe in having a showroom.
Yes.
They will tell you, look, my sales, I do them outside. Why do you want me to spend money into a showroom? And for me to sell, because I know that MD, I will go and sell. Now, you do your sales because you know so and so. You're forgetting that you still need to service.
Yes.
I would rather go and celebrate the best performance of our team, me and you, let's have a bottle of champagne, than me sitting with you, you bought the cars from me, I don't have parts, I cannot service them. What is that champagne for? And this way, the major problem where it was never about service, it was about, I know this person. It's a B2B business that we're doing.
Yeah.
So the salespeople you had in your company were order takers. You come and say, listen, just go and get the LBO from that client. So the failures, it's lack of service delivery. And that is what I believe in. I don't believe in a Superman.
Yeah.
I believe in structures and processes and making sure that we are all obsessed with customer satisfaction. And that is the key success.
What about your network regarding service? I come and buy maybe a Touareg Volkswagen from Dobie, and I live in Kisii. What is my nearest service center? How well are you distributed service-wise?
Well, what we do today, and this has been be here for many years.
Yes.
We have regional centers.
Mm-hmm.
If you have been to Kisii, Kenya, close to 7-8 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I've visited Kisii as well.
Mm-hmm.
The nearest that side, we have, for example, Kisumu.
Mm-hmm.
We've got our Kisumu 3S facility with the service, showroom, and spare parts.
Mm-hmm.
Dobie own facility as well. We have one in Nakuru.
Yeah.
We have Mombasa as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have recommended service centers
Mm-hmm.
that we are developing as part of our network development.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. You take the wheel at, so to speak, at Dobie, finding a probably strong, well-performing company. But you have a strategy based on the potential that you see. What is your strategy, and what kind of promise can you give to your potential customers and shareholders?
It is about, for me, it's never about my strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It's about our strategy.
Good.
Because I believe in people that work with me, they will tell you, I believe in
Mm-hmm.
teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
And you come into a country, you come into a market.
Mm-hmm.
The one is first, you have to listen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing I do. Listen.
Yes.
And I think that is part of our DNA as Africans.
Yeah.
Forefathers, when you go into a village,
Mm-hmm.
you go see the kings and the queens of the village.
Mm-hmm.
You introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You listen.
Yes.
They explain to you.
Yes.
This is the village. This is how you walk.
Mm-hmm.
And be careful there. That is one. Some of us are failing because you come and you say, this is me. You cannot take your culture into another man's culture. First is to get there and understand.
True.
And that in the corporate world,
Mm-hmm.
I translate that in 3 questions that I always ask.
Mm-hmm.
Is where are we as a business?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, please explain to me where are we? And you ask the team, where do we want to be?
Mm-hmm.
And you say, how do we get there? So you understand that it's not me.
Yeah.
It's these 3 questions that you answer. You find a roadmap that you run a business.
Sure.
And that's my simple, as Allah calling it, KISS. Keep it simple and stupid.
And then, of course, there's the value system. How do you make sure that it permeates the whole corporate structure? What are the values that have stood you in good stead in your career? The leadership principles.
The values, my personal values, is that what you asked.
Okay, the company has its values.
The company has its values.
Value system, yeah.
Okay, that's first you need to get
Yes.
into a place and say,
True.
okay.
Yeah.
And obviously, before you answer to those 3 questions that I just discussed with you earlier,
Yes.
the one is to understand what is the vision
Mm-hmm.
and the mission of the company.
Yes.
Because in leadership, if people don't have a direction, they get lost.
True.
And I, as a leader or a manager, you cannot run an operation without having a direction. And that vision is basically a dream. You know, it's a dream.
Yes.
What is our dream? Okay. And our dream in Dobie is to be
Mm-hmm.
the preferred transport solution provider.
Yes.
We want to be the preferred. This is our dream.
Mm-hmm.
When you dream, when you want to buy a car, we want to be that preferred solution provider for you.
Yes.
Then obviously we come with a mission statement to say, okay, this is our thing, and this is what we need to do to get to that dream. And that's the mission. And in our mission, we insist a lot on the teamwork.
Yes.
You understand? If you want to be that solution provider, you need to have employees that are happy to be part of the team.
Yes.
Okay? And that's a teamwork to get to that vision. This is what we believe in digital. Then obviously, we come with core values. Okay?
Very true.
And say, okay, for us to do that, what are our values? And among the values of Dobie, integrity is one. Okay? We believe in integrity because, without that, you cannot be that preferred solution. Okay? And part of our DNA is resilience. CFO group is our group. It's a company, a group that we belong, and we've been known for resilience. Okay, in times of COVID, we've demonstrated that. We continue demonstrating that resilience. Respect is part of our values.
Yes.
Accepting each other. So these are our guiding principles as a company.
So for you, coming from a training, especially training background, then
Training, that's my early years.
that's your early years. So, but you're passionate
Now
about,
it's my-
but I'm very sure that you're passionate about communicating these values to the team.
Yes.
So mentorship and training comes in.
Yes.
Comment, how do you mentor your people?
Mentorship.
Yes.
I believe in management by working. That's my way. Okay? I am not that leader, that MD that sits on the up.
Is your door always open?
My door is always open. And as I'm walking in the building, everybody that I face, we need to stand and talk for a second. And we talk work. There are no politics. We talk work. And, I believe in management by working.
Yes.
When we write, I always say things that we put in the computer is for record purpose. Okay? But the rest, it has to be communication and mentorship. Even tell people, you hear people saying, look, I've got one mentor.
Yeah.
I advise people, I said, have as many as you can. And a mentor is not always somebody you go through and introduce yourself and say, can you be my mentor?
Sure.
You can have a mentor just by observing the way he lives,
Yes.
the way he behaves himself. That is actually the best. So in a company like this, we have managers, we have supervisors, we can learn from each other.
Sure.
And that's the good mentorship. And in terms of training and development, and that's my drive. Every week I talk about that.
Yes.
If you go speak to my HR manager, she will tell you that that's what we talk every day. I've just signed a trip to Mombasa right now with my trainer is going to Mombasa and spend 1 week with the team there.
Yeah.
Because I believe in education. Somebody said if you think education is expensive, try to do the other way around. Yeah?
True.
You understand?
Very
Try to
true.
do the other way around and see if it will be cheaper for your operation. Yeah.
Kenya is steadily moving towards motor vehicle assembly. How well does this board with your experience and strategy for the local market, for the local entity?
That's, first of all, it's a very good thing.
Yes.
And thanks to our government in Kenya. Because these are thinkers. They think and say, okay, we want to be. Obviously, the policies are there.
Yeah.
We still have a long way to go.
True.
To get to what we need to do.
Yeah.
because when you do local assembly, then obviously there's a tax rebate because the government expects us to pass on that discount to the end user so that vehicles can be more affordable and we can move away from used cars into new cars.
Yes.
So that's the idea, that we can reduce the number of used cars. And the second one is to be able to employ our people, increase more employment. So from that perspective, it's a brilliant idea. And we are all looking forward, with the little we know, to share with our colleagues in the industry. It's a great idea, but we have steps to go. We need to take it easy. It requires a lot of.
It's very true. Yeah. Okay, talking about the new cars segment, our volumes, they are significantly less than, let's say, like a country like South Africa and maybe the European Union and the United States. Maybe you could tell us, maybe there is something that the macroeconomics can help. There is a place that it can help. What do you think we can do?
Yes, that's why I said it.
Yes.
Maybe I've been economic mature. So I said it's a process.
Okay.
And that process, we need to take it easy
Yeah.
and communicate a lot. We need to communicate a lot. Say, between ourselves, the players and the government, we want to do this. What do you think?
Yeah.
And which I see very positive in Kenya compared to some other markets where there is no communication. Government sees the business sector as competitors. Those ones, but in Kenya, that is quite good. There is that level of communication. Now, how do we get there?
Yeah.
If I give you an example of the South African market, I give you those good years, not now, because of COVID. And those good years, in the good years, South Africa will sell 50,000 vehicles per month. So it's a market of 600,000 vehicles. Okay. Now struggling a bit with COVID, so about 35 to 40,000 vehicles a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Now in Kenya, this year, if all goes the way we're looking at, the first 8 months, the market we sold all combined, trucks and buses, we sold 8,600 vehicles. So by the end of the year, we will close the year with about 13,000. Last year, it was 10,000. And obviously, it's not enough.
It is not.
What we want. Are we on the right path? Yes. COVID is only a setback. But the country is on the right path because you need more and more middle class.
Sure.
Okay. We talk governance, we talk growth,
Yeah.
employment, the banks. You understand? If I go into a showroom in other countries, you walk in the showroom, I want to buy a car, and I'll tell the sales guy, I need this car. And he will say to me, where's your ID, your pay slip? I give my pay slip. And he goes at the back, he tells me, give me 5 minutes. At the back of the showroom, there's a man from the bank that sits there.
Yeah.
He goes and gives him my application, and within 10 minutes, he comes back to me, he says, Mr. Chris, your credit has been approved. And before you know it, you're driving home with a car. So there are certain processes need to be done where, for example, in Kenya, you apply for the loan of a car, it can take you 3 weeks, it can take you 4 weeks. So there are certain things that there has been an improvement, definitely, but there are certain things we still need to work on to be able to make these vehicles more affordable. As a distributor, we do our part, okay? And obviously our government is doing their part.
Yeah.
So it's a value chain in that process. But I still believe that we will get there.
Yeah.
And Kenya was not, we're talking 13,000 cars today. If I tell you In those years, 2003, 4, Kenya, the market was 5,000 cars. So it is more than double today.
True. Okay, talking about COVID-19, it has obviously brought up challenges for each and every one. You're obviously struggling to put smiles on customers' faces. How has this affected your value proposition for them?
The good news today is that we are seeing this. That's the good news. Many companies have closed. We've had a challenge like everybody. But from the group, from CFL group direction and point of view, what we did as a group, and this is the direction from the group, was to flatten the curve first. I can tell you 70% of our staff are all vaccinated. As a company, we organized for all of our staff to be vaccinated. So we got 70%. That is part of the strategy that we took as a company, insisting on making sure that we respecting, social distance. Everyone coming into the building, our customers, in giving them sureties to say, look, we sanitize when you come, and also your vehicles are sanitized. When you bring your car for service, we sanitize, in front of you, looking after you. So that was, I think that is the number one priority for us, the safety of everybody. Yeah, and obviously now, how do we make sure that we are fair to everybody? And obviously, I'm sure you're reading the news in terms of the freight charges that have gone. A container that used to be $1,000 between Shanghai and France is now $10,000. So obviously, we are all cutting on margins and say, look, it's not a period of margins, but it's a survival period. So we fair to everybody, just to remain in business.
Yeah. Perhaps you could tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. How do you unwind with your family? Your educational, professional background, educational background. Yeah.
I'm a family man. As African, I've got a big family. If I tell you we are this many in my family, my cousin I grew up with will be very mad at me. Like we always think is one of us is calling us cousins. So we are many as an African. And many children, because our brothers and sisters, late and still alive, isn't it? So I'm a family man.
Yes.
And yes, I've got my passion is on business development.
Yes.
And when you do business development, you believe first in people. You can't develop if you don't believe in people.
Very true.
So people management is key for me. And those values that we talk about, the respect,
Yes.
That is key. That's what drives me. In short,
Do you have a favorite author, maybe a recent book that you've read?
What am I reading now? There's an interesting book of the industry that gave it to me 2 weeks ago, which is called KPIs, Key Performance Indicators. That's the one I'm reading right now. And the interesting one on how do we make sure that we deliver what we promised.
Perhaps in closing, I want you to look in the camera and give your prospective customers a promise as the new man at BT Dobie.
The promise to our customer is we have the solution for you. I just said earlier on to you that our vision is to be the preferred solution provider, the preferred transport solution provider. And my promise to the customers is we believe in the new way of business where it's not about this is it, take it or leave it, but it's about what is your budget, tell me, I have a solution for you. Already we have different brands in the building, from 1.6 million to the 16 millions. So we have a solution for you. And that solution is given to you from the cleaner up to the MD. That's my promise.
Asante sana,
Asante
Mr. Chris.
sana. Okay.
And karibu Kenya.
Asante sana.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you very much.